Okay, I think we're live. I'm more or less on time. Maybe minute late. I had things to sort out. Just came back from a physio appointment because of my old man shoulder. That's an actual medical condition for those who don't know. Old man shoulder. It's literally my shoulders hurt for no good reason. It's because I'm old. Now, I'm waiting for this thing to load. Where's my chat? That's weird. This laptop, man, honestly. Okay, there's the chat. Okay, what's it? So who's already here? Luke, Musical Aviator, Tendai, Miss Fox Vacation. Nice to see you all. It took, I don't know, it took ages for seconds. Feels like ages. Took a while for the chat window to appear, and I wasn't sure what the problem was. And I just have to change it from top chat to live chat, so I see all the chat. And hello, Catherine's there as well. Now I'm just going to adjust some things here. Apologize for it all wobbling out, and I'm going to do this. There you go. Fixing that. There you go. I think that's a bit better. Look, see, I've got my Hanukkah candles. It's Hanukkah. Some Jewish guys gave me. I live in the Jewish part of town, and I was out for a walk last night. These guys were out. I don't know. It's like they're handing out Hanukkah packages. Hello, Mitchell and Barry. Yeah. So these two guys were out, I guess, with their sons, who were wearing dreidel costumes, which was pretty funny. And yeah, there's a little package you gave me, this box that had that rather simple menorah and a dreidel in it, and an explanation of what everything was. And I think they thought I was Jewish, actually. They didn't take it off me when they found out I was. But I saw some guys, again, just as I was coming home from the physio, just go up my street, some Jewish guys, and they had the same package, a bag, and they had these same boxes. So I'm not sure what this is. It's a thing where they spread Hanukkah goodwill. I don't know. We're on like what, the third? See, I looked it up. It's the third night of Hanukkah, so we have 3 candles, yeah, and they're handing out. And I mean, I've lived in this house for 18 months. Don't remember this happening last Hanukkah. And I lived in like East St Kilda for 10 years, which is very much the centre of Melbourne's Jewish population, big synagogue just around the corner from where I lived. And I don't remember it happening there either. So this is interesting. I don't really know what this is about, this Jewish proselytizing, but they gave me a menorah and a donut. That's apparently traditional too. A jam-filled donut, which fat bastard me couldn't resist, of course. I'm just going to put my phone down. Anyway, oh God, what did I drop there? Bloody hell. Yes, so it was interesting that I ended up with this stuff. So Luke, vodka? That's what it's, my vodka bottle there. Lemonade. I'm just thinking of mixing something with it. But yes. Heine, you saw female Mormons doing street preaching. Yeah, well, the Christian sects do it all the time. The Mormons, Seventh-day Adventists, Jehovah's Witnesses. Jewish people aren't renowned for proselytizing. And these guys weren't really, I guess, trying to convert me or anything. We just had a conversation. And so, do you have a menorah? They gave me a menorah. So, of course, you know, menorah is literally just a candle holder, and some of them are incredibly elaborate, and some are very simple. I don't even know how well you can see that. It's just a bit of sheet metal with some holders bent into it. So yes. Is Foxification always with the tech support tips? If my laptop's slow, I need to reinstall, refresh. You know, you're right. I actually probably, because I no longer use this laptop for anything but these live streams. I probably should just reinstall Windows on it and start from a blank slate. That would make sense, actually. Oh, look, I find so many of the Christian preachers really lame. I often want to push them off their little pedestal and grab their Bible and do a real hellfire and damnation. And they're just going, if you do not follow the word of the Lord, you shall surely burn in the flames that never end. Because I just find them really boring. So I want to go hell for leather. But I think that's frowned upon, so I don't do it. Heine, I'm actually with you. I don't think I've seen female Mormon missionaries. The male Mormon missionaries are really common. I don't think I've seen female Mormon missionaries. What's that musical aviator? Street preacher in the corner of Flinders and Swanson gets a bit aggressive sometimes. I'm not familiar with that particular street preacher. I should be, because I'm around that area reasonably often. But yeah, I will admit I have once or twice had a street preacher get a little bit aggressive, and I've been a bit, yeah, is that the way you want to go, buddy? Is that really what you want to do? But yeah, them and bloody charity muggers hate charity muggers. And not because they're aggressive, at least not usually, but they do that fake friend bullshit. Like they're abusing social conventions by acting as if they want to be friendly to you. I'm like, fuck off. You don't want to be friendly to me. You want my money. Fuck off. Stop trying to make me feel bad for ignoring you, because you're not actually friendly. You're faking being friendly, which really shits me. So just fuck off. Oh, you've had some in Adelaide get banned from the mall. That must be a bit full on. So, Barry, you've heard about converting to Judaism not being that simple. I have heard that as well, in that most Jewish congregations prefer the congregation to just be family. Like, you know, they don't go looking for converts. You can convert to Judaism, but they don't go out looking for converts. And there's a whole thing with it. But yeah. Yes, misfoxification chuggers need to burn. Yes, and that's the other thing I don't like, that they're obviously taking some of the donations, but it just pisses me off so much, that abuse of social conventions. They do, hey, how are you? And I saw some today really full on doing it, like getting, hey, how you going? What are you showing? And I was just like, man, fuck off. It's like, it really shits me that you're doing this. I'm your friend. You're not my friend. You don't want to be my friend. You want my money, and you're manipulating me, and I fucking hate it. So yes. What's that, Charlie saying Rabbi turns you down 3 times if you try and convert? You have to do lots of studying. Yeah, oh, there you go. Yes, Luke. Yes. I know you saw Big Issue. Yeah, look, it's really interesting, the different styles of Big Issue. I find 99% of Big Issue sellers not to be dickheads. They certainly don't pull that chugger shit. It's normally just you know, holding up saying latest issue of the big issue, say what's in it. Point out, you know, it could be to help long-term unemployed, homeless. Some people put on a bit of a show, which can be fun, like they're, you know, really trying to attract your attention. But to my experience, big issue sellers are neither, as a rule, aggressive, threatening, and they don't do that fake friend bullshit that the chuggers do. I hate that. Oh, Tenda, I did see that story. The Nigerian president having to come out and say, I'm not dead and I haven't been replaced by a clone, which is exactly what a clone who replaced the dead president would say. Oh my God, how weird must that be to have people putting that about? Oh, Jesus. You know, that's even weirder than Melania Trump's body double, quite honestly. Oh, Miss Foxification, you went to a chugger agency and they push it like multi-level marketing. Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, often the people they get to do the chuggers tourists, people who don't necessarily have a work visa or might have a work visa but want some extra money. And, of course, people who were unemployed prior to being chuggers. So, yeah, they talk up what they can do. Haley, I sat in silence while the Greens endorsed a dope rope promoter, ALP. Well, you sound like a really fun person. In fact, we had a whole conversation about the Greens being shit with women. Oh, okay. And in fact, I think you're saying something that's complete and utter bullshit. It's not. If you're talking about the guy who was basically a shit poster on the internet and acting as if he did something wrong, you're a fuckwit. No, what you should be going for is the actual rapists or alleged rapists and sexual harassers in the ranks of the Greens, because they have a problem. They have had a problem for years, and they have been protecting the people who were the problem. And they need to sort their shit out, quite honestly. So, Miss Foxification, Nigeria, yeah, I mean, local religions, whether they're called voodoo or anything else, are no stranger than established European religions or belief in horoscopes or belief that Gwyneth Paltrow's website is anything but horseshit. It's like you get the stories every now and then. People talking about penis thieves. It happens in parts of Africa and parts of Asia, and from the outside it looks like some form of hysteria, like obviously people saying, oh no, the witch stole my penis, and then pointing to someone and saying it was her, and actually getting people assaulted or killed is obviously very, very bad. And it seems like hysteria from the outside, but I read a really interesting article a while back where someone really went into it. Went to a country where they'd had an outbreak of the belief in penis thieves. Yes, Fiore, you walked in on penis thieves. That could have two meanings as well. Just in your life generally, you walk in on penis thieves. But yes, this as an American writer, went to a country where they were in the midst of a bit of a wave of concern about penis thieves. And he's like, really, it wasn't like, you know, oh, silly, ignorant people believing. Like, he's talking to a university professor who thought there was something to it. So he said, oh, surely you don't believe it. And he's going like, well, you know, what do you know, man? He's going like, and as a parallel, people just go, of course, penis thieves aren't real. That's just silly. But someone said, well, for comparison to the West, talk about, try to explain to one of these African people anorexia, that the person who is literally starving themselves to death looks in a mirror and doesn't see an emaciated skeleton. They see a fat person. And you try and explain that to the people who've had sort of no exposure to anorexia, and they go, what the fuck are you talking about? That's stupid. It's like certain things get accepted as cultural norms, and from the outside, they look inexplicable and even stupid. But Internally makes perfect sense. Oh god, yes, misfoxification. Talking about African food on, yeah, you don't want to be an albino in Africa. Your life expectancy is somewhat threatened because of superstitions. My favorite bit about the penis thieves story, as a guy told the story once, he was like in a market while he was researching the story, and a guy actually out of the blue screamed, like it's just in the market, he's fully clothed, screamed, grabs his crotch and points at a woman and goes, "She's a witch, she stole my penis." And some people grab the woman and there's a big to-do, like it's going to get really ugly. But this cop comes in, and this cop who's having none of this bullshit, he like, this guy's screaming, "She's a witch," and the cop actually just pulls a gun on him and says, "Calm the fuck down and stop this shit, stop attacking that person." And he's going, "But she's a witch, she stole my penis." And he's got a gun. I'll go, "Okay, drop your pants in front of everyone. I'm sick of your shit. Drop your pants. I want everyone to see that no one stole your penis." And so the dude drops his pants. Lo and behold, his penis is there. And the cop's going, points, says to the crowd, see, all of you calm the fuck down. No one stole his penis." And the guy looks down and goes, "It used to be much bigger." It was just great. Like, this guy, whether you want to call it hysteria, a delusion, or whatever you want to call it, he's convinced that for whatever reason, something just, he's convinced he's had his penis stolen. And when he's forced to expose the non-stolen penis to the crowd, and so what he's saying can't possibly be true, he doesn't back down. He says it used to be bigger. I just thought that was brilliant. It was brilliant. Yes, Charlie, I got better. Monty Python's Holy Grail with the witch. Oh man, the witch scene in that is brilliant. The Holy Grail is my favorite Monty Python movie. Like, lots of people say Life of Brian is better, but it's just the Holy Grail I love so much. Yeah, you just go all the scenes, the witch, bring out your dead, the Black Knight, the knights who say neat, who want a shrubbery, the killer rabbit, and the anarcho-syndicalist peasants. Oh my god, they crack me up so much. Just like they frustrate King Arthur so much because they won't go along with his shit. And he goes, why are you acting like you're superior? And he goes, "I am your king." "Oh, king, eh? Very nice. I didn't vote for you." "You don't vote for kings." And he talks about the lady in the lake and the sword. He goes, "Listen, strange women lying about in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a system of government." And there's the whole thing, and he just gets so annoying, like when he's explaining how their anarcho-syndicalist commune works. And Arthur just wants him to shut up. And Arthur just shut him, "Shut up, will you shut up?" And he goes, oh, now we see the violence inherent in the system. Help, I'm being repressed." I love doing that to people. Like, if anyone ever pushes me out of the way, I'll say, "Oh, now we see the violence inherent in the system. Help, I'm being repressed." Yes, Heine, a moistened bit. All the different ways they come up with the disrespectful ways to describe the lady in the lake. Strange women lying about in ponds, a moistened bint, a watery tart. If I said I was emperor just because a watery tart lobbed a scimitar at me, they'd lock me up. Miss Voxification, curious to what I think of Dave Sharma. Pushes Israel agenda. Oh yeah, that guy. Oh, and they pulled that shitty thing because the seat he was going for, Wentworth, in the eastern suburbs of Sydney, the seat Malcolm Turnbull vacated, is one of the stronger Jewish districts in Sydney. And he and Morrison pulled that bullshit of, "Oh, we should move our embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, and just like needlessly inflammatory bullshit in a desperate hope to grab a few votes. Absolutely disgusting. Look, you know, I'm not one of those people who wants Israel eradicated. You can go back in time to post-World War II when the state of Israel was imposed on that part of the world and argue whether that was a smart move or not. Honestly, available evidence says not really. But Israel's there. Israel exists. Israel has a right to continue to exist. But the activities of the state of Israel and the Israeli military are regularly well into what I would call unacceptable. I mean, obviously it's a really fraught situation. Anyone who thinks there's a simple answer is fooling themselves or deliberately lying. But it's yeah, no, the whole thing is fucking dodgy, and certainly, yeah, at various times the state of Israel and the Israeli military have done some very fucked up shit that they should really be and continue to do. I'm not talking about some mystical distant past. I'm talking about current behavior. So there is shit goes on that I definitely don't agree with. Miss Fox, okay. You reckon Sharma's influenced by Israel to the extent that the Chinese are trying to influence? Look, I honestly haven't paid that much attention to Sharma, so I don't know exactly, if he's taken a few coins off someone, as Sam Dastyari notoriously did with the Chinese. Yeah. It's really weird. I didn't know about him. Yes, Musical Aid, that was basically it. Scummo goes just on a whim, oh yeah, we're going to move the embassy to Jerusalem, and Indonesia go, that's a fucking dick move, and it's putting at risk all our trade. And Scummo goes, oh no, I'm just making shit up for an election. And yes, as you say, and then Indonesia like, yeah, could you not be such a colossal turd to just really casually flip off an incredibly divisive and controversial statement and act as if it doesn't mean shit? I mean, honestly, Scummo and pals are so fucking desperate. Well, I just thought I might post to the Facebook that I'm doing this. You never know, someone might see it. Let me get a few extra visitors. That's always nice. Oh man, what's going on there? No, okay, that's a thing that isn't going to happen, but that's okay. Life goes on. Oh dear, I think it's lots of fun politics talk. Hey, something a bit more benign. Who's been watching anything? I watched a few things on Netflix recently. Of course, we've finished the new season of The Good Place, which was fun. I watched a couple. They've got a couple movies on there. There was one that I saw recommended by a film critic on Twitter. It was called Cam, and it was a sort of supernaturally thing centering around cam girls, and it was pretty interesting. Not great, but whenever I've seen a horror movie based around internet or social media, it's A, been terrible, and B, completely lacked internal consistency, and C, clearly been made by someone who doesn't understand how that thing works, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or whatever. Whereas this one with the cam girls, it wasn't terrible. It maintained internal consistency, and the people making it seem to clearly understand the whole cam girl thing and what was involved. And yes, without giving too much away, basically there's some sort of supernatural aspect or maybe AI in the internet that targets the protagonist when she gets popular. That it's called Cam. It's just called Cam. And I also watched the Coen brothers one, The Ballad of Lester Scruggs, which surprised me. It was an anthology. It was a series of short films set in the West. It wasn't one film. It's David Zuccaro. Yes. I Mr. Foxification have been watching Star Trek Next Generation. Yes, on Musical Aviator, I watched Disenchanted. I watched that when it came out. Disenchanted was okay. I don't think I laughed once watching it, but very nicely done, and I'm interested to see what they do with it. Hey, Tim, how are you? And I still haven't watched Narcos. I know there's a new Narcos Mexico, and as soon as I got Netflix, people said, oh, you should watch Narcos, and I haven't watched it yet. I might at some point. Miss Foxification watching Star Trek Next Generation. I quite enjoy whatever it affectionately calls Star Trek Disco, the Netflix series Star Trek Discovery. I quite enjoy that. Yeah, I'll have to watch Narcos because everyone always says how good it is. There's just so much that's good. And I'm watching a couple series that are on, well, they're on Foxtel here in Australia. As Heine said, the most recent Walking Dead I quite enjoyed. They introduced the Whisperers and made them quite creepy. It was a good introduction to the Whisperers. Oh yeah, we're talking about Sunshine. I was supposed to watch that after last time. David, your mates have been telling you to watch Narcos. Yeah, I don't know. Just basically, people heard I like, dramas like, Breaking Bad and The Wire and whatnot. They said, oh, definitely watch Narcos. And from what I've heard, it's good drama. It's good drama. Good acting. Yes, this Foxification. I have a bit of inertia. I originally got Foxtel for two reasons. Like, I've had it for a long time because my kids were little and there's a bunch of kids channels to keep them happy. And I wanted the comedy channel. And that was mainly, I wanted to be able to watch the Daily Show and the Colbert Report. These days, I mostly watch movies and some of the dramas, like, The Walking Dead just finished. There's a couple of new ones I'm having a look at. There's this British lad cop thing that has the actor who was Mickey Smith in Doctor Who. It's called Bulletproof. It's weird. To me, I was just like, this seems like too much action for a British cop show. I'm not sure that British cops fire their guns that often. Ugh, Jesus fucking Christ, some people are boring. Yes, Tim, that's ancient history. Jon Stewart on The Daily Show and Stephen Colbert. Because when I first got on YouTube, I was basically just watching clips of The Daily Show and the Colbert Report because, or mainly, The Daily Show, because that was even before the Colbert Report was on, I think. It was the only way to see it in Australia. And then I found out it was on Foxtel, so I was like, okay, I'm getting that. That was back in the original sign-up days to the internet. I was like wanting to watch The Daily Show, and then so I got Foxtel. And then, what else is there? There's a tense drama series called The Little Drummer Girl, set in the 70s, and it's like Israeli spies trying to get terrorists, and they've recruited this English actress to be their undercover person. It's only a couple of episodes in. It's okay. It's interesting, and I do watch a lot of the comedy stand-up both on Foxtel and Netflix. Tim, have I seen Paul Murray live? No, I don't even know who Paul Murray is. Miss Fox actually like last week tonight. Yeah, see, well, that's on Foxtel here, so I watched that on Foxtel. Luke, the movie, Paul, is that the stoner comedy with the alien? Seth Rogen plays the alien, Paul. If that's what you're thinking of, that's pretty funny. The fun thing to do in watching the movie, Paul, is to get every other movie they're referencing, every line they're saying from another movie. Ryan Spider, been watching Kenny Everett's Naughty Bits. That's a blast from the past. Watched Kenny Everett so much as a kid because the ABC repeated Kenny Everett so much. So funny. Oh, Tim, okay, he's on Channel 83 free. See, I don't have free-to-air TV. I don't have an aerial. I get stuff in cable. So if that's on, if that's community TV, then I don't get it. So I only get stuff that comes in from the cable. So yeah. Although what I watched, Donald Glover's new Netflix stand-up on Netflix. That was pretty funny. That was pretty good. Oh yes, Mitchell, I'm a Game of Thrones fan. Again, that's one of the reasons to have Foxtel in Australia. The only way to watch it legally, although you can buy the discs afterwards, I guess. Yeah, I read the books. I don't know. It was after the first season of the TV show. I watched the TV show first, and then people were always saying read the books. So then I did read the books, and of course he hasn't released a new book in 10 years or something. So the TV show ended up passing where the books were, and went off on a different tangent. It's kind of interesting because it's like The Walking Dead. I've been getting the Walking Dead comic since years before it was a TV show. And it's one thing Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead have in common is the TV show diverges enough from the source material that you never know what's going to happen. So, it keeps you interested. David, you like Big Mouth on Netflix is so funny. Like I loved the first season, but, I was hesitant to call it a classic. Maybe they only do one good season. Who knows? But yeah, the second season came out a little while ago. Oh God, it was fun. Like I really warmed up to it. Like, as I'm enjoying it, watching episode 1, 2, but like episode 3 and 4, I was in hysterics. It's such a funny show. They do so much funny stuff in that show. If you haven't seen it, animated series called Big Mouth. There's 2 seasons of it. It's really worth watching. There's another one. Netflix just released season 3 of called F is for Family. It's got the American comedian Bill Burr in it. It's not bad. Again, it's not as good as Big Mouth, but it's better than a lot of others. Like I laugh more at F is for Family than I did at Disenchanted or Final Space. Those are 2 Netflix series that a lot of people liked. I didn't hate them. I watched both of them and enjoyed watching them, but I didn't really laugh at either of them. So I think F is for Family is funnier than those two. Oh yeah, David, The League. I used to watch The League. I didn't watch, I don't know how many seasons it ran, but I watched the first 3 or 4 seasons of The League. That was a weird show. It's a Canadian show. It's either an American or Canadian show about a fantasy football league. That was funny. Right. Yes. Well, there is a really low standard of troll in the world today. Yeah, David, how many? It was like 7 seasons or something, wasn't it? Went for really thing. No, it's my real hair. Look, it's real. Yeah, I one of the reasons I watched The League when it was on, because I always love seeing stuff that has someone who I knew from YouTube in it, someone who got famous. And it was John Lajoie, who, when I saw his name on YouTube, and I'm just reduced to reading it phonetically, I thought his name was John Lajoie, but it's like a French Canadian name. So Jean Lajoie, and he did very funny songs on YouTube. Like, he's some super funny songs on YouTube. And then he was in The League, and I started watching The League because he was in it. But generally, I thought The League was a pretty funny show. Really, it's just one of those ones where the people are really sort of perverse and fucked up. Yes, and I have to admit, I do like a bit of fucked up comedy. Yes, the Stoner brother, that's him, David. Yes, he's the Stoner brother in The League. But yeah, if you've never seen his YouTube stuff, look it up, because he's bloody funny. He has some great songs and some sketches on YouTube. He's pretty funny. Speaking, and this one, I always talk about this one, but it's probably my favorite live special I've seen on TV. You get on Netflix. Bo Burnham, again, he's someone who got famous on YouTube, but very early on in his YouTube fame, like before even I think you could make money off YouTube, he branched off into doing live comedy, and he's been a very hardworking live comedian. And his most recent Netflix special, Make Happy, is a work of fucking genius. David, they're relatable because they're fucked up. I only relate to fucked up people. It's got to be a thing. Rottweiler has a joke. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side is the traditional answer. Tim, I think he gets fucked up comedy from any news service. You know, if I really want fucked up stuff, I'd watch those morning shows, like, you know, Koshi and those people on like Channel 9 or Channel 7 or whatever, those morning shows. Oh, they're a bunch of fucked units on those morning shows, honestly. It's just like, no. I don't want you on my TV. I'll end up throwing things at my TV. But yeah, some stuff. You know, what else? What else is good? I mean, oh my god, I just rewatched Deadpool 2, and I still really enjoyed it. Like, I've watched it a few times. It's a movie I really enjoy. Yeah, Tim. Well, now I'm not in bed anymore. You're gonna get up at like 6:15 for a job, but yeah, I don't waste time with the morning shows because that would just frustrate me. Yeah, Miss Foxification, I agree with you that they're just trash. Not that I watch it, but I've heard some people say good things about the ABC's morning program. Was it, Tim? Okay, you stay at home, Dad. Trained your kids to sleep to 10 a.m. That's pretty good. that is pretty good going, quite honestly. I was saying before, that's why I had Foxtel when I had little kids, something to keep them distracted. Lion Spider. Oh, a doco on Johnny Cash. I saw that advertised. Is that good? Is that good? Why does my hair... Okay, this is the same really sad, boring troll who's going to go. My hair go... Honestly, it used to be because of gel, but now it's just because I'm old and my hair's dry. So if I don't wash it and just brush it back, there's like no product in my hair. Kids, there's a little tip. Yeah, Charlie, Scottish hair is like that. Yeah, in my youth, I used product in my hair, and these days I literally don't have to. I'm old and my hair's really dry, and so I just don't wash it. If I wash it, like if I wash it and condition it, it will sit flat. But after a day or so, it dries out and it stands up all by itself. It's magic. It's magic. Tim, you want to make fun of the sad people? Yeah, well, maybe for a while. As the other thing, kids, you don't have to wash your hair past a certain age. That's the fucking cosmetic industry getting you. Or wash your face. I mean, I have water on my face, but the idea of having anything on your face once you get past pimply stage is you don't really have to do it. Charlie, you have a Scottish fro, defies gravity. It's really funny. Some people who don't know that some Caucasians get fros. It's not that common. But yeah, like to a degree, I'm down with picking on white dudes with dreads. You know, some people get very angry at them and talk about cultural appropriation. But it's really funny when someone goes, a white dude who's got a natural fro, because it's relatively uncommon. It's pretty uncommon. But it's a natural fro that they don't realize some white people have, and will go off at them saying, "Oh, I've got a perm and it's cultural appropriation." No, it's my hair. Admittedly, naturally occurring white people fros are quite rare, but they happen. I mean, notably, some Jewish dudes get them. They even call them Jew fros. They grow their hair out and it just goes tonch. Instead of growing down, it just goes out. Like I said, my hair sits up because I brush it up. If I brushed it flat, it would stay flat. I just like it like that. So yeah. So the Cash doc goes around 50 minutes. Oh, okay. I did see it, and I do like Johnny Cash. I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Yeah. So, oh man, yeah. Like Johnny Cash was such the character, because yeah, you know, he did country music, which was regarded as conservative or even reactionary by a lot of people, but you couldn't really pigeonhole Johnny Cash. He was quite he was. Oh, Barry, sorry. Are we being cruel and leaving you out with hair talk? See, that's what you call privilege. That's I've got to check my privilege now, my follicular privilege. It's not bad. People think like I've got a receding hairline. I go, no, I have had a forehead this big my entire life. I just have an absurdly large head, and as people like to say, I don't have a forehead, I have a 5 head. Yes, Barry, let's talk about sexy baldness. Was it? It's not a bald patch, it's a solar panel for a sex machine. But seriously, well, you know, it's it's much more accepted and regarded as a sexy look for men to be bald these days than it used to be. It used to be really stigmatizing for men. And I guess with some people it still is, but you get a lot more people who are regarded as sex symbols or stars who are bald, whether it be The Rock, Patrick Stewart, Bruce Willis. Oh, Tim, what does the bell mean? Okay, so if you subscribe and then you check your subscriptions, you'll see when I do a new video. If you click on the bell, you get a notification when I post a new video. See, I should explain that. Like the people who know what they're talking about, I should have a little thing at the end of each video that says, hey, if you do click on the bell, you'll get a notification so you'll know when I'm. But I'm so fucking over it. So, yes. Yeah, that's a good idea, Barry. Yes. Once you got over the baldness, it's a lot more convenient. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that's why I stopped. Like I said, apart from when I color my hair, I don't usually shampoo and condition my hair. I just rinse it, and it sits up all by itself. So that's the way it goes, I guess. So we're segueing from movies into hair care. Oh, okay. I'm going to tell you some funny hair product stories. My favorite, after experimenting with a lot of different hair products, my favorite was a Jamaican one called Black and White. So a wax. Just use like a tiny amount and get the spiky hair happening. Oh, look, it's the same person. It's one person. It's just those sort of sad fucking losers who create accounts just to do it. It's just one person. So yeah, I experimented before settling on Black and White. I experimented, and one of the products I experimented with was called New Nile. Now, this is a product aimed at African American men, guys with afros, and this product is strong enough to let you style an afro or settle an afro down. So it's a really heavy-duty hair product, and I thought that'll do one. And this was a period of time when I was at work. I wanted to slick my hair back, 80s style. So I tried New Nile because I could get it, and so put a bunch of my hair, and it held the hair like completely in place. Hair didn't move all day, but I didn't want that on the weekend. I wanted to be a bit more like this, a bit more free. And so I remember after using it for 1 week, like Monday to Friday for work, then it was like Saturday morning, and I went to wash my hair, and I shit you not, my fingers got stuck in my hair. I just wanted to, and the fingers were stuck in there. And I went, what the fuck? And I just used this New Nile for a week, and it like solidified in my hair. And what the fuck? And I shampooed my hair 5 times, and it still stood straight up like this. Like if I shampoo my hair now once, it'll sit completely flat. But after this product, I shampooed my hair 5 times, and there was still so much of this shit in my hair. It goes straight up. So yeah, the lesson learned in that little escapade is don't use New Nile unless you want to sort of permanently fix your hair in a particular way, because It's some serious shit. So that's tonight's beauty tip from Angry Aussie. New Nile is meant to be used by African-American men with afros. And if your hair is not that difficult to manage, New Nile's a bit too heavy duty for what you do. So yeah, look, I did get my hands, but I'm not exaggerating. Like I went like this, and it's like I can't move my fingers. What the fuck? Why can't I move my fingers? What the fuck? And yeah, I just went mad with the shampoo, and I shampooed it like 5 times, and it was still really in there. So it's like that was the last time I used New Nile. There's like giveaways on the packet, like the tin that it comes in is all pictures of dudes with like 70s afros. So yes. Well, Tendai, there's a number of reasons it's good that no one was there to film it, because I was in my shower. And yes, as much as AIDSy might be into accidentally making pornos, that's never really been my thing. So yeah. I just think it's like, has anyone watched, there's a series called The Juice? They just finished the 2nd season of that here in Australia. It was on Foxtel. It had James Franco and Maggie Gyllenhaal in it. They're sort of the co-leads in it. So it's set in the 70s in Times Square, when Times Square was really seedy, and it's basically about the sex trade there. You got the pimps with their working girls, and people making pornos. It's really quite fascinating. Tim, there is you're talking about bearing. There is actually a little cottage industry about loudmouth dickheads who don't like me. I'm just special. They just all do it. There are so many of them, and it's quite funny how obsessed with me they are. Because I always ignore them. I've never responded to any of the videos. I've never even watched any of their videos. And their slavish little troll army goes like, oh, you have to respond. No, I don't. It's fucking boring. It's like there's nothing to be gained from engaging with a racist, misogynist, bigoted fuckhead coward who lies and argues in bad faith. It's like biggest waste of time. Well, Iron Spider, it's either love or something a bit more intimate. Rest we thought. I'm glad you like the jokes. I'm glad you like the show. No, Tim, I've never met the guy. Although apparently he's in Melbourne. But no, I've never met the guy. I don't really know anything about him because I don't fucking care, basically. And I think that really gets to them, that I never respond because I just don't care. And they're like really determined that I should care. I was like, well, dude, I don't. Say whatever you want. You know, you're a one-note, boring, lying, misogynist, bigot, and you argue in bad faith, and engaging with you would be a complete fucking waste of time. Yeah. Hey, Barry, like the very first time he did this, I started watching. It's like his response to a 5-minute video of mine went on for 15 minutes. And I watched like 30 seconds and went, oh, dude, make a fucking point. And I just thought, no, my life is worth more than that. Life is too short to waste it on you. So I just ignore them. Luke, exactly. If I gave a shit, I guess I could make copyright claims. I just don't care. It's just like, I just ignore. Oh, God. Wrestle with Deep Thought. Do I really want to hear your sexual fantasies? You got a thing for Julie Gillard or Sarah Hanson Young? Gillard got that underrated booty. I reckon Gillard's into the nasty stuff. She was so funny. She just like she just didn't give a fuck. Seriously, like trying to explain, particularly to Americans, when Gillard was Prime Minister, going, okay, not only did we have briefly a female Prime Minister, she was an atheist who lived with her dude that she wasn't married to. So we had a feminist atheist Prime Minister who was shacked up with her dude. And it's like, that did their head in. Like, because, you know, in America, if you're going to get anywhere in politics, you have to slavishly be all about the Jesus, or you have to at least lie about it like Trump. But it was obvious Gillard was an atheist. And, oh yeah, Charlie, her misogyny speech was friggin' awesome, where she just eviscerated Tony Abbott. I will not be lectured by that man. And he was on the spot, and he was just, she just like ran a skewer through him and rotated him over the flames. She was just fucking going for it. Yes, 4 p.m. ago is not that long ago. It's how long ago was it? It was only what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was it 6 years ago? Was it that long ago? 6 years ago? 6 or 8 years ago. Julia Gillard was Prime Minister when exactly? I need to look it up. Time goes past, and I can't remember. So when was she? 2010 to 2013. So yeah, as recently as 5 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, she was Prime Minister. That's what I thought. Yeah, 6, 8 years ago was her run. Okay. I just had to check because it's hard to be sure. So yeah, in like 8 years, we went Rudd, Gillard, Rudd, Abbott, Turnbull, Morrison. 8 years, 6 prime ministers. Good Lord. Wrestle with Deep Thought. I honestly think Abbott probably whacked it in a dark room, imagining Gillard standing over him dressed in latex and a big whip in her hand. Yeah, you're right, Line Spider. At least Gillard left graciously. I loved it when the shit with Rudd came to a head. She just threw down. She was like, fucking Thunderdome rules. 2 enter, 1 leaves. She's going like, that's it. That's the rule. We'll do the throwdown, but whoever loses fucks off, okay? And she lost the throwdown, so she retired exactly as she said she would. Wrestle with Deep Thought. Abba's the type to jerk it to German porn. He's the type to actually be starring in German porn wearing a GIMP mask. See, you kids today are so spoiled with your internet full of porn. You probably, you don't even understand the different nationality stuff. Like back, ladies, the 90s, before the internet, when you get videotapes, go over the nationalities. Like, of course, for Australia, the mainstream of porn was American. But if you went to places that had specialty stuff, German porn was all the weird shit. That was the people wearing leather and latex and huge strap-ons. The German porn was the weird shit. Japanese porn was like a benign version of German porn. It was all fetish stuff and weird and stuff, but not quite as military as German porn. German porn was fucking weird. And Japanese stuff would be all over the shop with weird fetish stuff. But man, back in the day, if you were watching weird shit, you were watching German stuff. It was very weird. Dr. Poppable, is it asking if you burn your own house down on accident? Of course. It is an offense to burn down your own house. Oh my God, trivia story. Many years ago, my hometown, my older brother's house burnt down, and he was not home when it burned down. It was like an electrical fault. He was in the pub with his friends, and I shit you not, a fire engine went screaming past, and it was actually going to his house, and they're all having a beer, and he made a joke with his friends, "Oh, that'll be the fire I set at my place for insurance purposes taking hold. I get to cash in tomorrow, cha-ching." And they all laughed, and then it was his house, and it was like, you saying like, none of you guys are allowed to talk to the cops, okay? Because seriously, actually having to tell the cops that, well, he did say that he did it for insurance. I thought he was joking, but I have a slightly weird family. Fila and Sela, hello. Yes, I've wondering, have I told many stories about my family? Not many. Way back in the day, I had like a story time one. I told the story of the time I came back to. I was working at McDonald's. I was in high school. I was in year 11 or 12. I was working at McDonald's. My parents were out of town. My younger brothers were staying somewhere else because my parents weren't there. And I was working a closing shift at McDonald's, and I got home, and an old house, we're like in a crappy part of town, quite honestly. And my bedroom was at the front of the house, and I sort of came to the front, and my bedroom window was open. Now, this is how benign my neighborhood was. I didn't have a key to the house. The back door was open. The back door was always open. Front door wasn't, but the back door was. And I sort of come to the front, and my bedroom window was open. And I thought it was my brother, one of my older brothers, because there was a stereo in my room. He used to open the window, sit on the front veranda, and like point the speakers for the stereo out the window and just listen to stuff. And I thought, okay, the wanker's been listening to music and hasn't even bothered to close my window when he's finished. Jerk. So I walked up and I closed the window and then walked around the house to the back door. And just as I opened the back door, I heard my bedroom window open again. And I saw a shape run past the front door. There was like glass panels on the front door. I saw someone run past the door, and I went, what the fuck? And I instantly knew that wasn't my brother that had the window open. It's like someone had broken into the house. When I'd closed the window and then come around the back door, whoever's in the house had opened the window and scurried off again, because they apparently didn't know how to open the front door. So then I went through this process of checking the house. And it was dark, obviously. It was a big old house. I'm checking room by room, and there's no one home. And there shouldn't have been anyone home. And I'm checking room by room. And I went into our lounge room, and we had these big cushions and bean bags and everything in this room, and piled up in the corner. I was like in like the dining room next to the lounge room, the dining room light on, and I opened the lounge room door, and I saw someone hiding in the corner with all these big pillows and bean bags. They were hiding under them. I could see their hair. They'd sort of pulled a blanket over, but I could see their hair. And I was like, motherfucker. And I was just like, dude, I can fucking see you. And I had a big stick. Like I had this big walking stick. It had a big lump on the end. I was like, dude, fucking no, just get out, man. I don't want shit, but I can see you, so don't pretend I can't see you. You're right there. And they weren't moving. And I'm like, dude, do not fucking do anything stupid or I'll cave your head in. I fucking swear. Just go, man. Just go. What are you doing? And they weren't moving. And I was like, why are you not moving? You're not hidden. I can see you. I can see you. And I turned on the light then, and then I could see the top of the head, plain as day. Someone that like curled up and they go, like, I can fucking see you. Why aren't you moving? And I was like, dude, if you don't get up, I'm just gonna fucking cave your head in. I've got this big stick, and I'm just gonna fucking beat the shit out of you with it. And they still weren't moving. And something in my head was going, I'm just gonna pull the thing, and because they'd pulled this blanket over the head, and I'm just gonna pull it down a bit. And go, dude, you do anything stupid, and I'm gonna fucking go you. And I just pulled it down, and it was my sister, and she'd been out with her friends as my older sister, and she got blind drunk. She actually had her own flat. I don't know why she'd come back to house. I think she must have been in the neighborhood. And she's crashed in the lounge room and pulled this blanket over her head. But she was completely oblivious to the fact there'd been burglars in the house. But she was also unconscious and couldn't hear me when I was saying, get up. And so I pulled down the thing and sort of was like, ah! So I shook her until she woke up and told her what had happened. That, well, A, you're lucky the burglars didn't get you. B, you're lucky I didn't cave your head in with my big fucking stick, because that was just all kinds of fucking wrong. And that was a little bit, because I was like, I don't know, I was 17 at the 16, 17. That was a stressful fucking night. Yeah, it's just one of those things that is weird. Heidi, you were hoping it'd be, but you thought because we had been talking about pornos, this was like a porno movie story about a hot female robber. No, that was not quite it. Yes, Barry, he's right. They tried to use the anti-blocking spell. Ooh, if you block me, you're a coward. Just gonna say, no, dude, you're really fucking boring. That's my golden rules. Like, if you're boring, you're gone. If someone who had really contrary views to me wanted to have an actual sensible discussion or argument, I'd probably go for it. But a really boring, pathetic troll is like, dude, how do you labor under this misapprehension that you count for shit? Because you really don't. Yes, sorry, Ms. Fox. That's how Americans shoot their housemates. If I had a gun, my sister would have got shot. But oh, Barry, the trolls are too much for you. Oh no, they're so overwhelming and they're so cutting and incisive. They're not at all just boring and stupid and repetitive. We're going with Harry Potter spells. Expectro Patrolus. Now, wouldn't that make your troll appear? That one? Yeah, musical aviator, you might be close to it with Expelia Trollus, but yes. Oh yes, Tendai, I saw that story. Milo Yiannopoulos is such a fucking scam artist. He's in apparently millions of dollars of debt. And the fun one, which people who don't know how businesses work, like when you're running your own business, people might not understand. Most of the debt, like $1.5 million or more, he's in debt to his own company. And it's like, well, how are you in debt to your own company? And it's like, basically, a company, when it has money, has to account for it. Even if it's your company, it has to account for the money and it has to pay tax on the money. And he has just taken money out of the company accounts and without conducting it properly as a business, which now means he owes his company that money, which is a weird and convoluted thing, but is a good way to get into enormous trouble with the tax department. And I don't know which tax department he'd be having to deal with. Probably the American IRS, but he's actually British, if I remember rightly. But there'd be a reasonable chance his company was an American company. But yeah, it's a fucking great way to get in trouble with the tax department, is to run your company in a dodgy way and just treat it like it's a fucking cash machine that you can take money out, because you can get away with it for a while, right up until you don't, and then it all comes crashing down. What's the time on 12? Make a drink. First thing I need is some ice. Oh, knees up, mother ground. Ice. It's a lot of ice. Okay. Ooh, what do I have? I'm going to mix a drink. This is some raspberry vodka I made. Where's my lemonade? Oh, you're feeling it, Silo. I don't know if Luke, I'm so old. My knees are fucking given out on me. Feeling it, I'm not sure if you're joking about Milo replacing Gavin McInnes, but he apparently was slated. You know, there's some wank. Ooh, I'm going to have these really provocative right-wing people do another speaking tour of Australia, and he was going to have Gavin McInnes and Tommy Robinson. Now, Gavin McInnes has been refused entry to Australia, and in my personal opinion, Tommy Robinson should also be refused entry to Australia. And these people had apparently been planning to add Milo Yiannopoulos or substitute Milo Yiannopoulos into it. But now I think it's them Milo Yiannopoulos has fallen out with, and that's why all these papers have been filed. Milo's saying they owe him money. They're saying, well, no, he's owing us money. And this is all this thing about him being millions of dollars in debt has come out. But this being a public right-wing provocateur is just a fucking scam. It's just a grift. It's like I saw this thing recently with, I think it was Mike Cernovich, one of the MRA dipshits, saying how the generation of young men are all fucked now. They're all useless and worthless. And it's like, yeah, you guys, he's been scamming you for years. Not only has he been scamming you, telling you what you wanted to hear and taking your money, he hates you. He thinks you're shit. I mean, I hate you too if you're an MRA, but he hates you and takes your money. At least I don't take your money. So whereas with you thought, yes, if Milo took over the Proud Boys, would they be the Proud Queers? And they're fighting amongst themselves, because as soon as like a story broke, as soon as the story broke that the FBI were classifying the Proud Boys as an extremist group, who they should, Gavin McInnes tried to distance himself. This thing like, I'm not the leader of the Proud Boys anymore. I founded them, but I have nothing to do with them. And there's a few people point out, could you remember a time, like, could you imagine a mob boss who found out his mob family were under investigation by the FBI, who then makes a public statement, goes, yes, I founded this crime family, and I put in a structure that was all about doing crime in an organized and illegal manner, but now I declare myself to no longer be part of this crime family that I definitely organized and set about doing crimes with, but not anymore, so don't investigate investigate me. Like, that would work, right? If you just say to the FBI, Scout's honor, while everyone knows I did this, I promise I'm not doing it anymore. It's like, in what world does that work? In what world, when you've proudly talked about being part of this violent extremist movement that has violence built into its DNA and criminality built into its DNA, and then when you look like facing any repercussions going, I'm not doing that anymore. So, okay, we won't look at you anymore because you promised that you weren't doing it anymore. So that's okay. Hey, nobody, how you doing, man? So Lion Spider, grabbing girl in Melbourne supports Kevin McInnes. Yeah, the dude's so strange. I don't know if this is true, but apparently, whether it was on a podcast or on a live stage thing or something, someone said he was a homophobe or something. He goes, no, I'm not. I'm definitely not. It's like a white nationalist, but not a homophobe. And he apparently, his thing to prove he wasn't homophobic, stuck a dildo up his butt, which was like, okay, hey man, whatever, you do you. That's a thing you want to do. But it was also, if true, and from what I read, I think it's actually true. If true, that is quite the strange, it's like, that is a really weird thing that you think by definition that makes you not gay because you stuck something up your butt. It's this weird, not real assessment of what being gay is. It's like being attracted to people of your own gender. I wrestle with Devil. You saw the video. Okay, yes, okay. Hashtag no homo, yes. That works. So he actually did that, but that doesn't mean anything. There are a lot of gay dudes who never stick anything up their butt. And sticking stuff up your butt doesn't mean you're gay. It's so weird, so weird, so weird, so weird. Oh, Miss Foxification, I am going to make a video about it. That's a real thing. Someone discovered, apparently the various subreddits are a goldmine of just weirdness, and the relationship ones are amazing because the relationship problems people have are messed up. Aussie Gun Bunny, you heard the news about Twitter. What news about Twitter did you hear? So a guy found this stuff in the relationship subreddit with women saying, is this a deal breaker? And it's guys who are so homophobic, they won't wipe their butt. I am not joking. They think putting anything between their butt cheeks is gay, and so they will not wipe. And they, even in the shower, they won't wash their butts properly because they think that's gay. It's so strange. Those people are, there's some weird psychological problems. Oh, Aussie Gun Bunny, that's not Twitter, that's Tumblr. Tumblr said they're deleting all porn on the platform by December 17th, which is like 90% of the platform. It's so weird. I've never worked Tumblr out anyway. I never really go on Tumblr. The only thing I use Tumblr for, my Instagram pictures automatically go on Tumblr, and that's as much as I know about Tumblr. Yes, Luke, that is very unhealthy. These guys, their homophobia is so extreme that I mean, like this one woman's talking about how bad her man smelled, and if they have sex, like if he lies on his back on the bed, he leaves shit stains on the sheets. And I was like, how is this possible? How is it possible for people to exist like that? I'm going to make a video because this is so strange that someone can be so homophobic. And as you say, musically, but like in the literal sense, they are so scared of homosexuality. They're scared they're gay, and so if they do anything about touching their own, what is wrong with someone that their, let's call it, brain works that way, that they decide if they touch their own butt, that makes them gay, and they're going to go around smelling of shit and leaving shit stains everywhere because of their truly unhinged homophobia. That's like, we talk about toxic masculinity. I saw that referred to as septic masculinity, in that these guys are so obsessed with their version of what it means to be masculine that they're going to cause really gross oh no, I have so much trouble wrapping my head around. God, music, but he just made me laugh with that one. Some guy acting hysterical. Oh my God, a man touched my butt. A man touched my butt. Somebody's, oh my God, who was it? It was me. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Oh my God. Misfoxification is very hard to get around. Someone who displays such extreme homophobia as that has feelings. They have feelings, and they're desperately trying to repress them. And this weird self-loathing and repression comes out in incredibly strange ways. It's so weird. It's so weird. People are so strange. I mean, it's just, and this is what I love. Like, people think like we'll sort everything out one day. There won't be political divisions. There won't be wars. There won't be violence. Man, have you looked at people? And this goes out no matter what your political persuasion is, no matter what your worldview is, without exaggeration, I reckon minimum 25% of the population is so far removed from your understanding of the world and how you feel about the world that you just figure they must be crazy. And for different people and different political persuasions, it'll be different people who are this deranged 25%. But I think that's, yeah, I reckon no matter who you are, no matter what your political persuasions are, there'll be at least 25% of the population whose worldview is so far removed from yours and so in conflict with yours that you'll just assume they're crazy. Mofo sign, dude, what's happening? I heard about Google employees having trouble. Well, Google is a troublesome company. They're getting more troublesome as the time gets by. Although, mind you, it's almost as if Facebook is trying to outstrip Google in terms of being evil. Let's just say evil. I was going to think of a euphemism, but they both engage in behavior. Yeah, let's just call it evil. They hurt people in their quest to make money. Talking about the Google Killbot. Tendai, did Google used to own Boston Dynamics? I didn't know that. Wrestle with deep thought. Who'd I be forced to listen to? Cash Me Outside Girl or John Williams? Do you mean the music or just conversationally? Because for real, John Williamson, either way, actually, he's not even close. While John Williamson's music is not really my thing, I've seen interviews with John Williamson, and he's a decent bloke. Yeah, it's not even. I don't even have to think. Between Cash Me Outside Girl and John Williamson, it's John Williamson easily. Yeah, if I just had to listen to music perpetually, I wouldn't like either, but I would go John Williamson. Yes, nobody. That's it. Money is the love of money is the root of all evil. Power, and money is power. Money is an abstract concept, and money is basically an expression of power. And as the old saying goes, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Wrestle with you thought, okay, Cash Me Outside or Nickelback? Again, probably Nickelback. I'm wide enough. See, okay, I know the Cash Me Outside Girl has released some music. I don't know what it's like. My understanding is it's somewhere in the hip hop R&B oeuvre, and I like a lot of music in that oeuvre. And I don't really like Nickelback, but I am white, so without being completely familiar with her music, so this is why it's difficult for me to answer, because I don't know her music. So now you said Broken Side. I don't even know who Broken Side is. See, this is probably young people music, is it? I don't know. Young people music. I got some young people music today. I was looking for something else on iTunes, and just before I started to search, there was a little, one of their promos. You could get what's her name? Amy Shark. Amy Shark's album for $9.99. Which I rushed to get because I like Amy Shark. So now I can say what's when people say like what's the most recent modern piece of music I bought? I bought Amy Shark, an album for $9.99. How could you say no? Because it's got a couple singles on it I've heard that I quite like. You'll probably Broken Side. I'll try and remember. You probably need to send me like a message on Twitter or Facebook or something. So I remember, because I don't keep a record of this thing. But let me quickly. Aussie Gunbunny. That's why I said for me there was, when I was given the choice between John Williamson and Cash Me Outside Girl, straight to John Williamson, no hesitation. So it's not my first choice, but I would definitely pick him over the Cash Me Outside Girl. And also just as a person, because like I said, I've seen a few Broken Side. I'm just looking them up on YouTube. Yeah. Okay. That's okay, they're on Cleopatra Records. Okay. What are they like white boy hip hop? I'm trying to guess by looking at them. Oh my God, they had a song called Get Crunk. Okay, I kind of hate them a lot just based on that. Yeah. A song called Get Crunk. I'm like, no. I'm not on board with it. It's like Little John meets Screamo. Jesus Christ, that sounds terrible. Okay, I really hope I remember to listen to their music later, because I really want to see them now. Jesus, that harsh, but his Little John had no talent. It's funny, it's like I said, while I'm always very suspicious of white guy rap, of course, I like a lot of Australian hip hop, which is dominated by white guys. So there you go. How's it going, buddy? You'd have a hard time picking between Cash Me Outside or a hot needle in your dick. Loogie, you rage quit Divinity 2. Oh no, I don't even know that game. But you're saying this, the save system screwed over an hour of quest progress. Oh my god. Wrestle with Deep Thought. I do like the Beastie Boys. So here's the thing. I am so old that I was at uni when the first Beastie Boys album came out. Now, let me explain something to your young'uns, or you young'uns, about the olden times. See, in Australia, we were very isolated back in the day. See, some music would be released overseas months before it was released locally in Australia. And it was quite difficult to get that music in Australia. There was no internet. Some specialist record stores, independent record stores, would get imports in, and you could pay double the price to get something a couple of months before it was released locally. And I did that a little bit. I had some friends who did it a lot. But the Beastie Boys debut album, License to Ill, that was getting super hyped overseas before it was available here. Like, there was all this hype about the Beastie Boys for months before we could actually get a hold of it. And so for a month or two, there'd been nonstop hype about the Beastie Boys. And then it was finally released locally, and I got to listen to it. And I don't think I've ever been as disappointed by a record ever as I was by the Beastie Boys' License to Ill, because it'd been hyped so much by all the overseas music press. They'd been saying it was the greatest thing ever, blah, 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 blah. And then I got it, and it was just like this frat boy bullshit. Oh my God, I hated it. Now, their later stuff was fucking genius. Like, the Beastie Boys became amazing. And in retrospect, you know, in a camp way, I enjoy tracks like Fight for Your Right to Party and No Sleep to Brooklyn. But the hype for License to Ill killed it. Just like I said today, hype can kill everything. But yeah, see, Wrestle with, I agree with you. Fight for Your Right was probably a parody of Frat Boys, but at the time I didn't have a frame of reference, and I just listened to the record and I was like, this is shit. But they proved as time went on, they were fucking amazing. The later stuff the Beastie Boys did was fucking amazing. But I don't think I've ever been as disappointed in an album as I was in License to Ill. I disliked it so much. Nobody, you're right that I've never liked mainstream music, but you say pop shoots to me. There is some great pop. Now, music is personal taste. Art generally, creativity is personal taste, and some more subjective than others. But I listen to Triple J a reasonable amount, and I love a lot of stuff they play, and they play a lot of good pop music. Like I said, I just bought Amy Shark's album, which I was thinking of buying anyway, but it was so cheap, like $9.99 for the album. I got it. She does great stuff. There's so much good pop that Triple J are playing, like Alice in Wonderland, TK Maidza, Montaigne, bunch of other stuff. Hey, Wrestle, Sticky Fingers are okay, yeah? Are you into DZ Death Rays? They're okay. I'm not mad on DZ Death Rays, but they're okay. Yeah, generally, oh my God, we were talking about Hilltop Hoods before. Their new single, I fucking love it. It's a real party tune, and lots of words in it. They're talking really fast, and plus the whole song is basically telling someone to shut the fuck up, which of course I love. So I'm looking. They've got a new album coming out soon. There are a couple of acts I always buy their new album without even having heard it. Hilltop Hoods are one. D'Antwoord are another. And I reckon we must be due for new stuff either from AB Original or a solo thing from Briggs, and I'll be getting that straight away when that comes out too. Nobody, you don't like the loudness wars. I'm not sure what you mean by that. That means Foxification. Japan has released something called MQA CDs, high bitrate CDs. Ah, I see. So yeah, that's one of the big things. CDs are comparatively compressed sound compared to vinyl records. You have to be a bit of an audiophile to hear the difference, but digital downloads, MP3s and stuff are very much compressed compared to even CDs. And so you can get some high-end stuff. So I like what you're talking about, Miss Foxification. Some Japanese companies releasing high-end recordings. But I mean, man, people go for cheapness and convenience over quality. That's just life. Audiophiles will always go for really high-end stuff, but the general populace will always go for cheapness and convenience over high fidelity. I see what you're saying, nobody. Yeah, we're compressed sound, so even the quiet bits at the same decibels as the loud bit. Yep. Sorry, Chris with deep thought. I like that. Chris, what's his name for an audio? You're an audiophile? Take a seat, sir. Why are you here? Why are you here? Just here to listen to the record. Really? But she's 13. But she has a good record collection. Oh, yeah, Luke, MP3s classically are very compressed, comparatively poor quality sound. So, yeah, and because I grew up with vinyl and digital was touted, like CDs, digital sound on CDs was touted as being higher quality than vinyl, and it really wasn't. It was different. It wasn't better. Oh, look at the game. Divinity 2 is a mix of The Witcher, D&D, and Dragons or Old Traditional RPG. Cool. I've not really played that style of game. I started playing Skyrim, and I didn't stick with it. I might go back to it, or I might even start again, because where you get to design your own character. I was messing about with stuff, and then unbeknownst to me, I'd basically gone. I'd hit the wrong button and I accepted. I'd gone with the completely default Nord character with no modification at all. And I felt like a bit of a goose. And I played it for a while. But I might go back to it, but it didn't really grab me. Like games that grabbed me recently, Zelda Breath of the Wild. I just finished Mafia 3, which was heaps of fun. Yakuza 0 was good. Mafia 3, I don't know if anyone's played Mafia 3. There's a fun thing, like you soon learn that you should try and be stealthy. You can do this thing where there's a big bunch of your enemies. You can either go in guns blazing and probably get killed, or maybe you'll make it if you're good at that sort of thing. Or you can sneak in and you do this whistle, and you isolate. So there's like one guy who's a little bit away from everyone else, and you hide behind something and whistle. And he goes to investigate him. And then you do this silent kill, knife him and drag him down. And so you can sort of take out a whole nest of them one at a time, your rival mafia dudes. And I have to admit, I really fucking enjoyed that. Like you'd be going after these guys in a warehouse and there's like 30 of them in there. And obviously doing it by stealth is much slower than just going in guns blazing. But I don't know, for some reason, I just really enjoyed doing things where you stealth up on people and then just grab them and stick a knife in their throat and drag their body down and hide their body. Probably does not speak well of my psyche that I enjoyed that so much. So that Lion Spider used to do party DJ work in Brizzy. Good God, that sounds like a fun time. You blew a dude's eardrums out with Love Shack. He stood too close to speakers. I've got hearing loss generally. I've had problems with this ear since I was a kid with infection. This ear is probably half deaf, and this has a bit of hearing loss. When I had to have surgery on this ear, the specialist gave me hearing tests, and his question was, do you go to a lot of loud concerts? And I went, yeah, kind of. And he goes, yeah, because I'm looking at this hearing loss, and either you work with a pneumatic drill or you go to too much loud music and you don't look like you work with a pneumatic drill. And yeah, I particularly remember in my youth, my favorite band was the Angels, and they played in Dubbo when I was growing up. And I actually climbed up on their speaker stack to take pictures. I wasn't allowed to. Like, one of the roadies saw me when I was up there, and he didn't beat me up or anything. He just pointed at me and went, "You get down." And I went, okay. But I got a couple of good pictures. But I climbed up on this speaker stack of this really loud rock band, and the bass beats were blowing my hair. So that would be one of the worst times when I really fucked up my hearing, that one concert. Anyway. Oh, nobody, you play Postal. Yeah, that's a notorious one. Our friend Frankie the Skin, who might appear in about 10 minutes. He normally appears 5 minutes before I finish. He sent me Postal 2 on Steam, and I started playing it, and then I forgot the controls and what they all did, and I got really annoyed and stopped playing it. But yes, for those who don't know, Postal is just about killing people in very horrible ways, and you can get super creative with how you kill people. I might go back to it one day, but yes. I like that line, Spider. It's fun. I did a little bit of DJing when I was in college, not much. You're saying the crowd often don't realize you can hear their conversations, and you heard some fun chats. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh my God. Oh, nobody, that's special. In Postal, you play fetch with the dogs and use a human head as the ball. Nice. Luke, how is it possible this stream doesn't have any dislikes? Well, it was actually only, it was at most 2 different people being trolls. It was possibly only 1. But yeah, we don't worry about people like that because they're just fucking boring. Oh my God, that's funny. You ever heard an anal sex chat between a couple? Nice. Miss Foxification, sounds like you've seen Postal as well. Knock the head off a cop and piss on the body and hit the head with a shovel so the doctor can play fetch with it. Yes, yes, yes. And then there's Gary Coleman. I think that is such a portentous and weirdly threatening statement, Miss Foxification. And then there's Gary Coleman. I don't know what that is. I know Frank told me in Postal 2 there's a character obviously based on Milo Yiannopoulos, and you can kill him horribly. And I think Frank has done. Frank, I mean, you think I have a perverse and dark sense of humor. Frank has a perverse and dark sense of humor, and he's very proud of it. Nobody, also your comment, people vomit when you piss on them. Are you talking about in real life or in the game Postal? Because I'm not 100% sure of the context. Oh dear. Ooh, that's an interesting thing. just trying to clear. This version of Windows is seeing pop-ups, but they just said something that's actually interesting. If I have an iPhone, I can share web pages from the iPhone to my PC. That's cool, but this is not really my PC. Oh, nobody. Oh, sure. You say that's only in Postal. You say you don't go pissing on people in real life. I'm sure we all believe you. What sort of person would do that in real life, honestly? There's a joke about video games influencing us. You're in my generation, the joke was it's ridiculous to say, and there's also if you were a raver, if you're into dance parties, oh, it's ridiculous to say video games influence you. I played Pac-Man all the time. If video games influenced me, I'd spend all my life in the dark listening to repetitive electronic music, eating magic pills. It's like, oh, wait, I think I do that. I don't even know what the dance party scene is. Obviously, I mean, Jesus, who wants a 50-year-old showing up at your dance parties? But I used to go to warehouse raves and whatnot in the 90s, in the acid, they call it acid rock, I think. It was kind of like disco. In like rave music, the music was always about being at raves. Like disco music was about being in discos, and then rave music was about being in raves, which is, you know, weird when you think about it. That's a big question, Miss Foxification. What would Postal 2 be like in VR? Oh, Jesus. Oh, nobody, you say you've never decapitated somebody with a shovel in real life. You say that, and we're just meant to take you at your word. Okay, sure. Oh, Tindo's got the hot take. Sleeping Dogs is better than Grand Theft Auto. I don't know. I really like GTA 5. I enjoyed the shit out of that. And I don't know what Sleeping... I think I've seen it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Sleeping Dogs is. Oh, my God. My son did have that hacker game that's something dogs. It's not Sleeping Dogs. It's trying to remember, but it's like a hacker-based game. Maybe I should try that. Oh, oh, Bill Maher is a narcissist. He says aggressive, confrontational stuff just because he's obsessed with attention. Yeah, and he said that shit about Stan Lee and comic nerds, and it's just like, yeah, Bill Maher's fucking garbage. I dislike him so much. That's it. Watch Dogs. Thanks, Tendai. Watch Dogs. Seen a little bit of that. Maybe I should try that. There are actually a bunch of games in this house I could play. I really want to get Red Dead Redemption 2, but there are so many games in this house, like for the PS4 and some on the Switch, that I haven't played. And I go, oh, I should play them before buying another game. Because I'd started Mafia 3 and then didn't finish it, and I thought I should go. And I went back to it and I really enjoyed it, and I played through and it was really cool. And I started God of War, as people affectionately call it, Dad of Boy, and didn't finish it. Maybe I should go back to that one now. Safa, the encryption laws are bullshit. They're bullshit. There's fucking, this shit has been going on for years. The fucking Liberal propose a really horrible, intrusive, destructive surveillance law, and Labor goes along with it. It's fucking bullshit. Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head, Miss Foxification. The encryption laws won't achieve what they set out to do, but they'll weaken all our systems and they'll make all of us more vulnerable to criminals. It's a fucking terrible idea put by people who don't understand technology. Luke saying, yeah, it's almost 2019. Shops going crazy for Christmas. Ugh, I'll have to do some Christmas shopping soon, I guess. My kids are easy because they just want games. Some of them want Super Smash. I don't know what my daughter wants. Maybe she'll just ask for Steam money or something. I don't know. Oh my God, Tendai, if you take a drink every time Kratos says boy, you will die from alcohol poisoning. That's like the world's most dangerous drinking game. Well put, Miss Foxification. They cannot and will not stop client-side encryption. Create a demand for public key crypto chats, client-side encryption, and it'll make terrorist communication harder to decrypt. It'll make ordinary people vulnerable, and it won't make criminal investigation any easier because the criminals will do other stuff to get around it. Terrorists will do other stuff to get around it. Ordinary people will be made much more vulnerable, and criminals will have a fucking field day with the vulnerabilities. And you're right, Safra, it's also really authoritarian. I just laugh whenever the Liberal Party says, oh, we're the party of small government and the rights of the individual. Fuck no, you're authoritarians. You like to say that Labor's all about interfering in people's lives with their all socialist ideals. The fucking conservative parties in Australia are authoritarians. They've, ever since like Howard, they've wanted to make thought crime a thing. It's like introducing laws that basically say if you express a view that's negative towards the government, they can charge you with a fucking crime. It's ridiculous. Tendai, what's the Roxanne drinking game? I shudder to think, if you think that's more dangerous than the Kratos drinking game, it's like, my God. That must be bad. Nobody said it before, say it again. Our government's a terrorist organization. They definitely push very hard on fear as a thing to take away our rights. You know what? It cracks me up because like England has surveillance cameras virtually everywhere, but if you ever watch modern English cop shows, they will always say stuff about when they're trying to get a horrible criminal, like, oh, that area didn't have CCTV. Well, the crime would be solved if there was CCTV here. So it's like the UK's got like 90% blanket CCTV surveillance, but they keep pushing this message out. Oh, if only we had 100% CCTV blanket surveillance, everything would be so much better. It's like, fuck yeah. Oh yes, misfoxification. I did opt out of the My Health Record thing. That was some serious bullshit. That was such a fucking shit show, the My Health Record thing. It was absolutely ridiculous. Luke, you might still be able to do it because I heard they extended the opt-out because their website kept crashing. Yeah. So, Lance Buddy, you were active in New South Wales Libs in the 90s. And the State Council had a motion to ban heavy metal based on Metallica. Oh my God. And you destroyed them because you knew the song. Nice. Nice. Hey, Safa, we're going to have just fucking CCTV everywhere. But it's funny, like, seriously, watch British cop shows. They constantly refer to whether or not they have CCTV and how the world would be better if they had CCTV. It's indoctrination of the population. It's fuck yeah. Oh, misfoxification, we've got till the end of January to opt out of My Health Record. Thoroughly recommend you do it, because if at a later date the government or a subsequent government fixes up the fuck-ups with the My Health Record, you can opt in. But if you don't opt out, you are fucked. No matter how bad the system is, you're stuck in it and you can't get out of it. later on. So you definitely want to opt out, because if they fix it, you can opt in. But if you don't opt out, you are trapped in whatever bullshit they come up with. So yeah. Yeah, suffer in London, they probably have in the toilets. It's like, this makes me wish, has anyone ever seen a satire series from the UK called Brass Eye? It's from about 10 years ago, and it's fucking hilarious. And these are people who didn't give a shit. Like the stuff they went after, like when you hear, like, I particularly laugh at these like right-wing dickheads, like the type we were talking about earlier, who say like, oh, I'm not into political correctness and whatnot. But if you say something they don't like, they'll be all over you. The satirists who did the stuff under the name Brass Eye, they didn't give a shit, because it was about 10 years ago, there was this hysteria in England about pedophiles. Obviously, pedophiles are awful. Pedophiles are terrible, and we want to get rid of them. But England lapsed into this sort of hysteria that was completely divorced from reality. You can get this on YouTube. Look up the Brass Eye Pedogeddon. This was the most balls out satire I've ever seen. Like, these people were just going like, yep. We don't care that this is supremely dodgy territory. We're just going hard and highlighting the insanity of this hysteria about pedophiles. And man, they got threatened, they got abused, and it's just like it will be all these people who say, I want free speech, because when they say free speech, they want to be free to attack brown people, to attack the gays, to attack the Muslims. But when you made fun of them for being hysterically obsessed with pedophiles to an extent that didn't make sense, you got death threats. But yeah, if you want to see like some of the edgiest, right on the fringe satire I've ever seen, you can get it on YouTube. Look up Brass Eye Pedogeddon. It is way out there. And the Brass Eye stuff generally is really out there, aggressive satire. But yeah, the Pedogeddon special they did was full on. Really does it. So a few years ago, your job upgraded security entrance by installing a fingerprint reader. Oh, yeah. See, biometric security is shit because it's so easy to subvert. And what happens if someone steals your fingerprint or your retina scan? What do you fucking do? It's like, for fuck's sake. Biometrics is broadly bullshit. Yes. Luke, yeah, the Chaser do some funny stuff. I agree with you, man. Raiders, UK CCTV used to monitor football crowds. Oh, UK CCTV's everywhere, man. Oh, Wolfie, you know what I'm talking about. the Brass Eye Pedogeddon special. Heine, yes, you're going to go. I'm going to go to. Charlie, you don't have to miss the Chaser. They're still around. They still do stuff occasionally. They did a funny video recently I saw on Facebook where they basically said, what's his name? Oh, God, my brain stopped working. Former Labour leader who's now just a reactionary fuckwit. Mark, my God, why's my brain stopped working? I probably need to go to bed. Latham, God, why did my brain stop working? Yeah, Mark Latham. The Chaser did a video where they basically said Mark Latham was a prank of theirs. It's very funny. And because they get a bunch of public figures, it's funny. But anyway, Anyway, look, thank you all, one and all, very much for spending time with me this evening. As usual, it's been quite enjoyable spending time with you. I hope you all look after yourselves. Take care, and you know, if you're having a bad day, just remember, bad days happen to all of us, but making it through a bad day means you're closer to your next good day. And I know that's hard to focus on really shitty days, but look after yourselves. You're all awesome, because I blocked the trolls, so everyone who's left is awesome. And I hopefully will see you all again soon. It's been a blast. Take care, and I will say bye for now.